When some celebrities go on trial, they've become so accustomed to unconditional adulation from their fans that they often don't know how to behave in a courtroom. This video is celebrities reacting ridiculously to their felony convictions. Now don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see the celebrity you loathe the most crying disconsolately in a felony trial. Amber Heard. Now who doesn't hate this pretty blonde actress who took advantage of poor Johnny Depp? The popular Jack Sparrow interpreter went on trial unfairly because of Elon Musk's former lover, who saw a golden opportunity to sink the career of Tim Burton's legendary fetish interpreter, in exchange for succulent millions of dollars and, who knows, the chance to be in the running for an Academy Award on the basis of being one of the victims of the Me Too movement. The reality was very different from her dystopian fantasy, and at the trial we immediately saw reactions of fear and panic at what was coming as Depp and his lawyer clearly defended his innocence. The result? Well, we all know Heard's allegations had less foundation than Donald Trump's border wall, and the consequences were obvious. Amber not only showed her discontent in the middle of the trial, but also began to cry off-camera, claiming to be totally heartbroken and disappointed by the verdict of a judge who clearly had his head in the right place. Amber ended up fleeing to Spain, the world's crime paradise, where they welcome with open arms the likes of her. Let's hope she makes the most of her walks in the Retiro Park in Madrid, while her career sinks, little by little, into misery. Justin Bieber. The popular Canadian singer and philanthropist is one of the broken toys of the music industry. Despite having earned millions of dollars with hits like Baby, Sorry, Yummy, or any other word that ends in Y, 10 years ago he was convicted of driving under the influence of healthy herbal medicine, which he obviously needed to keep on being a punk while sleeping night after night with some beardless fan who thought Justin was a tender, sweet young singer. At the trial, Bieber was still under the influence of those healthy herbs, and so it was no surprise when the judges could not believe what they were seeing. The artist, to say the least, ended up confessing in a deplorable state. He admitted yes, he was a real stoner, and yes, he would love to meet Floyd Landis, the popular doped-up cyclist, who perhaps could supply him with some of those medicinal plants to relieve his tensions. Eventually, Bieber was released in exchange for a substantial sum of money, and after spending a few nights listening to Cypress Hill, he found his way to sobriety and kicked the bad habits. Oh, how we're glad. Kevin Spacey. This legendary actor, famous for classic movies like American Beauty or Seven, or even TV series like House of Cards, suffered like Johnny Depp with an unfair trial tarnishing his name, and he lost millionaire contracts just because a jerk ended up accusing him of committing a crime he had not done. And not only that, they also forced Spacey to come out of the closet, since this time it had been a man who had denounced him, because Kevin had spent a rather ungracious night with him. The actor, who always defended his innocence, appeared in court in a coherent, sensitive, and especially truthful way. At all times he attended to the media, and he also swore and perjured that he had not done it. Finally, he ended up being cleared. An innocent man, and now he is currently asking for a job, the job he deserves after having several years of his film career ruined. Why not leave your like on the video if you support Kevin and you're willing to see him in a movie? Our 60-something homosexual friend deserves nothing less. Donald Trump. Now, the Donald is one of the most unfairly treated actors in the Hollywood career, which deserves at least one Razzie Award for his magnificent performances. However, he was charged and found guilty of 34 counts of falsifying business records in trying to cover up a scandal on the scale of a Jeffrey Epstein client list, a scandal that threatened to affect his run for the presidency of the United States in 2016. In the trial, we observe a frightened and at the same time angry Donald. And being an old man, he's now been declared a criminal for the first time in his life. Something we think is hilarious, since everyone knows that to be a billionaire in that game, you have to commit a crime of some kind throughout your life, unless you're a genius. And our friend, the lover of Venezuelan women, unfortunately is not one of those. Still, we at this channel would hire him in an instant to perform some of his popular dances. If he needs work, that is. Let us know in the comments what you thought of the condemnation of Melania's proud husband. Danny Masterson, the popular performer of the curly-haired young stoner from That 70s Show, hasn't had the same kind of movie career as Ashton Kutcher or Mila Kunis, and that has all ended up turning him into a sad third-rate offender. In fact, he was recently sentenced to 30 years in prison for performing some very unfamily-friendly acts on two tender young women who simply wanted to meet their idol. Masterson, a monster of biblical proportions, appeared at the trial wearing an Anthony Hopkins-style mask in the role of Hannibal Lecter. And, impassive, he listened as he was condemned for his filthy and disgusting acts. A reaction typical of a person who is not exactly normal. Perhaps a little like our final guest of the day. Lindsay Lohan, the popular Disney performer and current Netflix girl, spent a crime-filled 2000s, ending with her bones full of white powder behind bars. She was sentenced to only 3 months in jail for violating a probation for driving totally blind. But that was enough for her to suffer a breakdown in the middle of the trial, one which made everyone there think she was crazier than Marge Simpson in the trial for harassment towards the ex-girlfriend of Otto, the popular bus driver of the animated series. Lindsay screamed, Lindsay cried, Lindsay insulted those present, and Lindsay showed herself for what she really was, like something out of The Exorcist. Thank goodness you're a rehabilitated person now, Lindsay. We're so glad you've got things straightened out. Now, dear viewers, I hope you'll stop by the next video. I'm sure you will love it.